Hey all, welcome to my channel. We are almost at the end of this year, which means it's time to set up our reading journal for the next year. So for this year, I've got the same Neora notebook but in a different size. This is A5 in size, has 205 numbered pages, and I just thought it'll be very convenient for me. And as for the supplies I'll be using, it's the Tombow dual brush pens. I got this recently on Amazon. It's all pastel colors, so I like to keep my journal pastel themed. And I've also got Tombow Fredano brush pens, which is really helpful for writing out the headings and stuff, which you'll see me using in the later parts of this video. And as usual, I'm still sticking to Brewster fine liners to write down the details and reviews, etc. And just some basic writing instruments like pencils and ruler, etc. So these are the supplies that I'm going to be using. And what am I going to set up? You must have watched my previous video in which I planned out the spreads that I'm going to be setting up in my 2026 journal. If you haven't watched it yet, I'll leave a link in the description box below. So I've got the plan all detailed out in this Excel sheet that I just showed you. So without further ado, let's get started. So starting off with, in the front page, I'll be sticking a photo of myself. I haven't got it printed out yet, so I just skipped that page. After that, this journal has also got an index page, which I will fill out after I've set up all my spreads. So flipping to the next page, this is where I'll be setting up my title page and quote page. So I've sketched out the title in pencil for now, and above that I'm just adding some color to it with the pastel brush pens. This year too, I thought I'll go with the pastel themed. It's been working so well for me. It gives a very pleasant look to the overall journal. I really don't want bright colors, so I'm sticking to pastel theme for this year as well. So this year, the overall layout of the title page will look something like the letters 2026 and reading journal sitting on top of a bookshelf. Only I didn't get space to put some books on there, but that's okay. I'll be just adding some doodles on the right side so that it looks like it's at least a shelf. So that is how I went about this. And after I'm done using the colors, and that is filling the letters with pastel colors, I just go ahead and outline it with the Brewster fine liners. I was actually very confused on how to set up this title page because I really want my first page to be perfect and pretty looking. I don't know if the outcome was pretty, but I still liked it. But I kind of felt like my last year's first page was better. If you hadn't seen my last year's journal, I'll leave the link in the description box below. I also have a playlist where I've uploaded all my 2025 reading journal videos, so you could watch those as well for some inspiration. So yeah, this is how I ended up finishing that doodle. I just added a flower vase in one shelf and a book and a stack of books in the other. And since the bottom part of the page was a little empty, I just thought I'll add another book stack there as well. So I had a printout or a Pinterest image which had this, so I just decided to copy it over here. I actually wanted to stick that picture itself here, but the colors on it looked much bold than what I have used here. So I thought, why not draw it myself? So that is what you see here. And I just wrote too many books, too little time, signed off a reader. Just some quirky charm to my journal first page. And on the left side, I am writing a quote about reading. I just scrolled Pinterest for quotes related to reading and picked one that I liked the most. And I didn't want the page looking too plain, so I thought I'll add some sparkles and confetti kind of stuff. So yeah, so the left side I have wrote, in the end we'll all be stories. It's a quote by Margaret Atwood. I have not read her books at all till now, but the quote was so good when I saw it for the first time, so I decided to go with it. Yeah, and here also I'm just adding a doodle of a bookshelf, a stack of books on a shelf, whatever you may want to call it. I just used the Tombow pastel brush pens, and I think I forgot to outline it right here, but you'll see me outlining it in the final flip through when we come to that. So yeah, and here also I just added some confetti and sparkles to add a little pop to the page. So with that, my first page or the first spread of 2026 reading journal is done. It looks so good, if I can say so myself. But yeah, I really like I really like the way it turned out. And moving on to the other spreads of this journal, I start with my reading goals page. Every year I set some 4 to 5 goals for that year with regards to reading. This year I haven't yet set those, but I thought I'll complete the spread at least. So for the headings this year, I'm going to be using the color brush pens by Tombow Fudenosuke. So and just add some black sparkles and stuff around the heading, so it gives a nice little border for the page. I'm not going to be putting borders, so I thought this will really make the page look better. And the second page is something new that I'm trying out, that is the rating system. It's basically a matrix that I can use to rate the books based on two aspects. I usually don't use this because for the past few years I've been following whole number rating system. That is, I either rate the book 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and it was just purely based on vibes, no analysis, no science behind it, nothing. But this time I wanted to try it out. I got this idea from Jashi Koren. She's a booktuber and journal tuber. Um, Basically, what the system means is you rate the books based on two aspects: enjoyment and quality. So the enjoyment is ranked from heart eyes emojis to sad emoji. So if I really like the book, I would give it a heart eyes emoji. And quality is ranked from A to F, A being the best. So if a book was really well written, I would give it A. And if it wasn't very well written, it was very bad, it was too poor, then I would give it an F. And everything else is just in between. So if I really enjoyed a book and the book was of amazing quality, I'll give it a heart eyes emoji and A in terms of quality. So in the above matrix, 5 is the rating for that book. So that is how the system basically works. I'll link Jashi Koren's video also in the description box below. You can watch that too. So that is how this rating system spread has been set up. After this, the next spread in my journal is going to be my physical TBR spread. This also I haven't yet fully set up because I don't know what my physical TBR will be by the end of the year. So after that, I want to kind of draw those bookshelf kind of spread and color in each spine as I complete that book next year. And the next spread for my journal is going to be my book club spread. So I run a book club on Instagram called Lid Zone Book Club. We pick out one book every month and try to read it. So this spread is dedicated to that. I'll be sticking book covers of the 12 books for one book for each month in this page, and just mark my star rating against each book. I've been doing this spread for the last 2 or 3 years, so this is nothing new. And moving on, the next spread is my Read Christie spread. So there's a reading challenge conducted by the Agatha Christie Limited Company, where they give prompts for each month, and based on which you will have to choose a book by Agatha Christie which suits that prompt and try to read that book for that month. And the prompts haven't been out yet, so I haven't selected what books I'll be reading yet, so I'm leaving it blank for now. Once the prompts are finalized, I'll be sticking the book covers of those 12 books there. And moving on, the next spread is book bingo. This is something new that I'm trying out this year. Basically how it works is you just come up with few prompts, that is 25 prompts to be exact, and try to read one book for each prompt during the year. So I've also come up with the prompts already, and how I'm going to set up the spread is something really cool. You'll see in a minute why. What I'm going to do is just write out the prompts, but I'm not going to do it directly on the page. I'm going to cut up 25 flaps for this from another old journal that I'm no longer using, and stick those flaps here and write the prompt on top of the flap, and leave space underneath the flap for the book cover that I'll be reading for that prompt. So it'll look really cool when the bingo is complete and I've got at least a few books to fill out. So what I did was just cut up some 5x6 grid size papers from an old journal and make a flap on one side and just stick it to the page so that it's openable like a little window or a door. I really loved doing the spread. The spread took most of the time in setting up this journal. So here's how it looks after it's filled up. Now I'm going to write out the 25 prompts that I've got. I don't remember it off the top of my head when I'm recording this voiceover, but just to give you out some examples, I've chosen prompts like a book that was published in my birth year, a book that was published in the decade I was born, a book that has a single word for a title, book that has more than 5 words for a title, and so on and so forth. So you can just search on Pinterest or Google and search for just bookish bingo prompts and etc, and you'll get a lot of those prompts. Some of these prompts are inspired from those kind of posts, but some of these I came up with on my own. I'll be posting them on Instagram also, I guess, so at that time you could get a detailed list of what all I've decided to read. And the title and the layout of this page is pretty much the same as the previous pages, just title in a color brush pen and some sparkles and glitters with black brush pens. And the next spread is also something new that I'm doing this year. It's a backlist tracker. So there are a few authors whose all books I want to read. Basically, I read one book by them, one or two books by them, and immediately got this urge to read everything that they've ever written. So I have some 8 to 10 authors like that, but I'm not going to be writing all those authors here because a couple of those authors have written a lot of books, and I won't have space to complete it here. So I'm tracking them separately. Few examples are Agatha Christie, Freda McFadden, and Matt Haig, who wrote The Midnight Library, which was a very popular book. So those three authors I haven't covered here, but other than that, I am writing, I think, around 10 or no 7 or 8 authors here. The first one is obviously Ali Hazelwood. I read The Love Hypothesis and immediately fell in love with her writing. So I have read almost all the books she has published since. And next is Emily Henry, and again I read Beach Read, and I really loved her vibe and writing, so I went on to read all of her books. And then next one is Frederick Backman. The first book that I read by him was A Man Called Ove, and it was really beautiful, and so I want to read all of his novels. And then Taylor Jenkins Reid. So she is an author who typically writes historical fiction, I guess. I really like Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and there was also a short story she wrote called Evidence of the Affair. So the writing and the plot was really good, and the way she approaches her characters, I really like those. And the next is Sarah Adams. I love her Nashville series. It's very cute and very romantic, so I want to read all of her books. And next one is R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan is an Indian classic writer. I read a couple of his books when I was a kid, and I loved those. And even after growing up, I want to read his books. And there's another author I recently discovered, Claire Douglas. She writes thrillers, that is psychological thrillers mostly, and her style is usually something like dual timeline or dual POV and so on. So I really like that style of thriller. I haven't seen that in most of the authors that I've read. And the last one is Lauren Asher. Her Dreamland Billionaire series was amazing. Amazing is to put it lightly. So, and I want to read all of her books again. So yeah, that is my backlist tracker. The next one is book recommendations tracker. So this is also something new. The reason I wanted to include this is I see a lot of recommendations by my Bookstagram friends or real life friends on social media. So I kind of lose track of it. Some I save it in Instagram, some I note it down, some I go to Storygraph and mark it as to read. So I kind of wanted to have one place where I could note down all these recommendations so that I don't miss any. And the next page was just Read the Rainbow. It is just a fun challenge, a space filler kind of thing, where I'll be sticking book covers of all the 7 colors of the rainbow. That's it. And moving on, the next one is genre and rating. So till last year, I used to track this in 2 different spreads. So ratings I used to track in just plain boxes, and genre I used to track in a bookshelf page. This year I thought I'll combine both and create kind of like a mosaic structure. You'll see in a minute how I go about setting that spread. I have color coded the genre into 7 categories and rating into 5 categories. So if I rate any book half star, I'll just round it down. For example, if I rate a book 4.5, I'll round it down to 4 here for this, for the purpose of this spread. And in the above, I've divided one square into two parts. So one will be for genre and one will be for rating. That is how the spread will work. And next page is also something new that I'm doing this year. That I'm doing this year. It's basically number of books I read in each category of pages. So, for example, the first one is less than 100 pages, then 100 to 200. So, as I read each book in one category, I'll draw a box in that inside that rectangle. And next page is physical TBR tracker. This is something I've been tracking for last 2 years. It's basically it'll have the number of books that I have unread on my shelf at the beginning of the year, and each month I'll just keep reducing the books that I read and adding the books that I buy. So it'll give me a new total of my physical TBR at the end of each month, and finally at the end of the year I'll have the total unread books that are sitting on my shelf. So this is a really cool way to motivate myself to read more physical books and read books that I've already got. So I've got months in the rows and categories in the columns. And next page is days read. So last year I did a year in pixels page. It did not really work out well for me. I mean, with pastel colors, it was very difficult to bring out the purpose of this spread. So this year, instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw the same layout of boxes, 365 boxes, one box for each day. And instead of marking how many pages I read each day, I'm just going to mark whether or not I read that day. So if I read that day, I'll be putting a little heart inside that box. And if I don't read that day, I'll just be putting a black dot inside that box. So that is how this spread has been set up. Let's see if this works out for this year. And moving on, next page is books bought spread. The spread basically tracks the all the books that I bought in the current year. I'll just write down the title of that book, where I bought it, and for how much money did I buy it. I'm pretty sure I'll be buying a lot of books, so that's why I kept 2 pages for this as opposed to 1 page which I kept in my current year's reading journal. So yeah, moving on. Next spread is going to be a year overview spread. Basically, this is where I tracked the number of books I read that in a particular month, the number of physical books I read, number of ebooks I read, number of pages I read, and number of days I read, and all those fun stats that I could look back at the end of the year. So I've got the months at the top, and the metrics I'll be writing in the left side of the page. And one more thing, throughout this journal, I've got quite a lot of empty spaces in the spreads. So I do plan to fill those out by using washi tapes or stickers and anything just to decorate the pages kind of. And the last spread in my yearly spreads in the journal is my reading log spread. This year I changed up a little. So I was feeling like too many columns that I've been using really make this activity a chore for me. So this year I'm going to be having only 3 or 4 columns maximum: title, author, rating. That's it. So yeah, that's it. And here's a final flip through. I think the video was a little too fast, but I had to concise it to 20 minutes. So enjoy the flip through. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you got any questions or doubts about the supplies that I'm using or the spreads that I'm preparing, you can always drop in the comments below, or you can DM me personally on Instagram too. I'm very active there. I mean, not that I post too much, but I actively reply to all the messages and comments there. And yeah, so we are outlining it just now, like I said in the beginning of this video. I'm actually very happy that I completed this at the beginning of December. I mean, not even at the beginning of December. Today is November 30. I'm very happy that I managed to do this 1 month ahead of 2026. Last year, I think it took me most of January to complete my journal spreads. So yeah, very soon I think I'll be back with the 2025 journals flip through. That is my completed reading journal that I've been using in the current year. And one major change that I made this year was switching my reading journal size from B5 to A5. I downsized a little because I felt like I was having a lot of blank pages after the year was completed. So my B5 journal, I ended up using it for 2 years. I kind of want to have one journal for 1 year, so that's why the downgrade in terms of size. I'm actually quite happy that I did it because the spreads look so good and so satisfying in an A5 notebook this year. I'm actually looking forward to using this journal. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and got some inspiration for your own reading journal. And if you do make one, be sure to leave a link or anything in the comments below. I would love to check it out as well. Bye. Thank you.